Hey everybody. Well, it's a beautiful morning here in Minnesota. We've had actually good temps all week. Highs in the low 40s. Still haven't got rid of our snow. As you can see, plenty of it out there. But I'm just getting my stuff ready for a big edge feathering project today. And the goal with that project is to promote bedding. There's some other things that I'm hoping to accomplish with it, but the main focus will be bedding, and I'll explain that later. But yeah, just getting my stuff ready today. Just did some sharpening there. You can see my bench grinder right here. If you don't have something like that, I would definitely recommend getting it. It's awesome to always have a sharp chain to cut with. Dull chains are not safe, and man, you got a nice sharp chain. Well, you get work done quick. So yeah, just getting the stuff ready, doing a little reflecting, praying. I always like to do that before I go out. God's creation, just love. That's where I really feel connected with the Lord. So that's another thing. I'm excited for the serenity of being out in His creation. But read a good verse this morning, one that I'm sure many of you have heard. Psalm 18:24. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So I'm stoked that the good Lord gave me another day to get out and just appreciate His creation. And I can't wait to go connect with Him out there. But I'll get the chainsaws ready here and we'll go fire it up. All right, here's where I'm going to do a big edge feather. So this one won't accomplish much from a screening standpoint because look, the slope of this woods works its way up that way. So obviously if I edge feather down here and they're bedded up on the hills, they can still see out. Actually, I have three main purposes. One, deer are still starving, so I want to get them food, so I like cutting this time of year for that reason. Two, I want to encourage bedding on this lower portion here. So if I do an edge feather where like a true edge feather, where I perpendicularly cut these trees to the food plot, which is right here, I can get those deer to stack up right behind it, as opposed to doing a parallel cut that creates more of a wall. The deer don't feel as comfortable with that because it blocks them off. They don't have the escape routes they'd have with a perpendicular cut. But they do. They bed up right on the bottom, or right next to those perpendicular cuts. I've seen that a lot over the last few years. So that, and the other thing I'm doing is I'm kind of extending my woods a little bit. So that's a bigger plot. That's probably a 2-acre plot. It doesn't need to be 2 acres. So if I tip these trees out into this food plot, gives me another 10 acres of woods, because what's going to happen is these trees are going to act kind of like seclusion cages for that next generation of trees to grow up through them. And so I'll get some good woody regen. Also have birds landing on the trees and pooping out tree seeds, and they'll help replant trees, but it's going to help protect that next generation of trees from the deer browse. But two, it's just going to allow another 10 yards of woods, which I'd like to expand this woods a little bit. So time to get at it. The trees along this edge are pretty much perfect for mostly hinge cuts. I'll flush cut some of the smaller ironwoods. But yeah, it should be a fun day. All right, so here's a little backside look at what I got going on. So I got everything hinge perpendicular, like I said. You can see it all. It's all cutting out into the food plot. I got gaps like right here where they can sneak up into the woods. We will not be hunting along this edge, so this is going to act. That's why I want deer to be bedding right here. I'm okay with them bedding right up against this food plot. We don't hunt on this food plot. You can see I got them edge perpendicular, just cutting out into the plot the whole way down. Another benefit of doing this edge feather here and stealing a little bit of this plot space is that the high part of the food plot is right along the wood's edge, so the plot doesn't grow very well there. It gets a little bit gravelly, and plus if you ever look at a food plot, you can see along the wood's edge, because of shade and because of the fact that trees are robbing nutrients, you don't get good growth right next to the woods either. So by tipping these out, we're stealing part of a food plot that's not really that beneficial anyway. But yeah, gaining a lot of extra woody cover along here. Another thing I like to do is keep a trail open on the back side of the edge feather. So there's an area where the deer can meander through all the way along this back edge. They should have no issue getting around. But anywhere I found like a treetop along this edge, I saw a deer bed. So they will definitely use this edge. The better bedding is going to be back up on those points in the woods. I've been doing a little bit of TSI while I'm at it. Found a few oaks that I released and a few nice straight maples. We like to have a few maples. We tap trees and things like that. So save those as well. They do have timber value as well. So if the next generation ever does log again in 50, 60 years, maybe there'll be some trees of value. So I am saving the nice maples as well. But yeah, the big focus is just getting this edge cut. So I'll show it from the front side. I got a long ways to go yet though on my cutting. All right, here's the final product. So I got all the trees that I want to get cut tipped out into this food plot. You can see it slopes down. That's food plot down in there. That kind of just sat fallow last year, but we'll probably plant it this year. And we basically use this food plot for just to feed the deer. Just another spot to feed the deer. We tend to put corn or beans over here, kind of for late season food. But again, I wanted to encourage more bedding down below here, just to increase our carrying capacity a little bit, hold a few more deer. So that's why I tipped them out. So there's lots of little escapes, or lots of little areas they can jump into the woods. So they're going to feel comfortable bedding up behind it. I have a nice trail. Actually, on my walk back, I'll take one last little video of that. I know I showed it earlier, but I have a spot where it really kind of just shows what I like to create. But yeah, I got that trail going behind it. And you know, during the rut, the bucks might use it as a sneak trail. So it all kind of sets up, and really this is working for one deer stand. So I have a deer stand up in the timber that way. That works as a nice rut funnel. It's a morning spot. And the deer work this bottom ridge past that stand. I missed a good buck a couple of years ago out of that one. A buck that was working this bottom ridge. It was actually checking the bedding that was up top. But yeah, it's a great rut funnel, and we can sneak into it. We have a great access that cutting right up through the woods that way. So we only hunt in the morning, and we can get in generally pretty clean, because normally the deer are out on that big egg out there. But I do have this set up too, where I stop my edge feathering right here, and now I left this upper corner just to kind of suck the deer a little closer if they do happen to be on the food in the morning. I got about actually it's probably not quite shootable. I think it's 40-45 yards. I probably wouldn't take that shot, but it might suck the deer up in the woods through there. So I did leave this spot right here. I didn't do any edge feathering, but working down through here, I got a great little edge feather going on. And mainly the trees I cut today were basswood, hard maple, ironwood, couple ash, couple elm, but basically basswood, maple, ironwood. And I did hinge them all. I even hinged the ironwood. A few of those will live, a lot of those will die, but I wanted to prop that cover up and let those next generation of trees come through this, even for the ones that die, because that will that'll just enhance the screen even more. And I'm going to add to my woods. You know, I added 10 yards at least And I love this jagged edge. The deer just seem to love it. So, all right, well, I'll shoot one more quick video on the back side. All right, so this is the back side of the edge feather. You can see it's pretty dense cover looking out to the field, but I got a nice trail cutting all the way up through here. And then the hilltop bedding is up that direction. But I want them to have free range of motion when I'm trying to encourage bedding this close to the food. I want that free range of motion right behind the edge feather. I guarantee if I were to walk by this in the summer or fall, I would jump deer, because I've done it right after deer season when I've checked cams and things like that, and there's always deer bedded in it. So anyway, that was the project today. Great day out in God's creation. Man, I am blessed to be able to do this. It's just an awesome day in the woods. All right, you all take care. God bless.